Hey y'all, hi. It's time for another episode of New Makeup Hot Takes, a video in which I go through the announcements of new makeup that has been released or is going to be released and give you my hot takes. So it's time for another episode, but when I went to Trend Mood 1, which is the Instagram account that posts about new makeup releases, and that's where I get my information for these videos, it just doesn't seem like that much has been going on since the last New Makeup Hot Takes 2 weeks ago. It's like there's been a bit of a lull, and I was like, can I even film New Makeup Hot Takes? Because I only like to talk about stuff that's interesting. I mean, there are plenty of things that have been released, but I feel like why just blabber on? I just pick the things about which I feel like I have something to say, the things about which I feel like I can contribute to the conversation, which are really also the things that sort of in their way have something to say about my approach to makeup, kind of like speak to my thoughts about makeup. So it's not everything. So I started picking them out and I was like, there are only 3 things, but then I looked a little harder, I thought a little more, and I was like, I think there are enough. I can scrape it together. I have enough to say about enough new releases that we'll have a video. By the end of the hour, we'll have a video. I feel like maybe there's a big sale season coming up, and so brands don't want to release brand new things right now because they're gearing up for everything to be discounted. Maybe that's what's going on. In any case, I'll do my best. And if this is your first time to my channel, I hope you enjoy your time here. My name is Hannah, and I make beauty content all the time, and then I drop in some fashion videos from time to time. I'm overall just interested in aesthetics and trends, but I try not to promote overspending. You know, if you like it, I hope you'll subscribe. And now, let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. New makeup, hot takes. New makeup, hot takes. Before you even comment, I actually should have said this in the introduction because some of you have probably already commented. I'm wearing Merit Aperitif, which is the limited edition True Red in the Merit lipstick. It's limited edition for summer. I didn't know I was gonna like it, and I didn't think I was gonna like it. I thought it was gonna go pink on me. Ever since I tested it in that video about new makeup releases, I have wanted to wear it every day. I cannot stop wearing it. There's just something very special about it. It's so bright and velvety and just wearable. Anyway, I'm happy to be wearing it today. First up, Juvia's Place Liquid Highlighter. I don't think these are in chronological order because I pulled them up in separate tabs to begin with. I use my computer instead of my phone because I'm an old, and they just got pulled up out of order. So I don't know how new this announcement actually is. The reason that it's intriguing me is partly because it looks very beautiful and I really like liquid highlighter, and I've really been into gloss all across these days. I've really been into highlighting my whole face. I made that video about shopping my stash for spring summer makeup trends, and the like drenched dewy face is the one that I've been wearing the most. It's like I haven't gone a day since I filmed that video without putting dewy stuff all over my face, including today. Everything else on my face besides the lip is Surratt. I'm still testing a bunch of Surratt makeup for a deep dive review coming soon. One of the things they sent me is pretty glowy. This interests me because I'm into glowy things, but also because when I went looking for interesting lipsticks at the drugstore, 2 of the glosses that I ended up testing were from Juvia's Place, and one of them really impressed me. And I have tried a few other things from Juvia's Place, notably Muted, the lipstick, in the video about searching for a dupe for Gone Greige. Gosh, I'm mentioning a lot. I feel like I've mentioned 5 of my former videos in the first minute of this video. I'll link them all in the description box down below, so you can go watch them all if you want. Don't fret, don't get discombobulated. What I'm trying to say is that Juvia's Place has intrigued and impressed me and has done so recently, specifically recently. And so my antennae are a little bit more out for Juvia's Place than they were before, and now they've gone and released something that is the kind of thing I really love. I'm going to resist the urge to run right out and buy this. That's what's happening. I'm having the urge to run right out and buy this. And you know what I do when I have that urge? I fight it. I don't give into it. It's not going anywhere. It's not limited edition. I can't trust the first flush of passion for a thing like this. I just know very well from experience that what is likely to happen is that I'll wake up a week from now and I'll be like, why did I ever want that? Not like I won't understand why I've ever wanted it, but the feeling of like, that like, oh my gosh, I gotta try it. I bet it's amazing. Like that feeling will have faded and I'll have a much more clinical perspective. And from that perspective, I'll probably be like, I bet it's great, but I don't need it because I have Auric Glow Lust and all the other dewy stuff that I've been testing. And you know what I mean? I'll be a little bit more clear-headed. So if I order it today and it starts being shipped to me, what'll happen is before it even arrives at my doorstep, I'll be like over it, you know? So I'm not gonna order it, but I am gonna follow its future career with a little bit of interest. interest. And if people are reviewing this and freaking out about it and everybody loves it, and I see it sometime when I'm at Ulta gathering products for a video to test, I might put it in the basket. That's where I'm going to leave it with this. New colors of Glossier Cloud Paint, Wisp and Soar. You know, this is mildly notable because I've made a bunch of Glossier content in the fast. I have done it fast because one of those videos was like 30 Glossier reviews in 30 minutes or something like that. Maybe it was, 26 and 26 minutes, but it wasn't in the fast. It was in the past. It's fine. I'm fine. Glossier Cloud Paint is a great product. It's a great formula. I don't have any of them anymore, any of the ones that I used to have, because they've all been I had a Dusk. Dusk was the only color I really loved. And I liked Puff okay. It's just they got unseated by more intriguing colors, muckier colors. And these two colors, Wisp and Soar, like a grape and a watermelon is what they seem to be billing them as. They've moved the shade range in the opposite direction of what intrigues me. I like duskier, more mixed, mucky colors. And these are both like clear, pure colors. I know that some people are going to be like, I've been waiting for a cloud paint this color my entire life. And so I'm not faulting them. I think that they know what they're doing in terms of choosing their new colors. It's just easy for me to resist because I have so much experience with this brand, with this formula, and I know what I like, and these colors aren't it. Oh, this is interesting. So this is the kind of thing I might be skipping if it wasn't such a slow news week. But because I was circling back on the new releases and thinking like, come on, Hannah, you gotta have something to say about some of these, I realized that I actually do have something to say about this. So this is Rhode, Hailey Bieber's brand. Rhode Skincare, right? She doesn't make makeup. Glazing Milk, a nutrient-rich, lightweight essence that boosts barrier function and provides immediate luminous hydration. So it's a skin prep milky essence, the likes of which have been flooding the market for the past several years. I think that this concept originated kind of in K-beauty. I do believe that the concept of the essence as a skin prep step did, and probably the milky essence too. The one that I really like, the one that I have actually bought for myself twice at this point, is the Make Beauty version of this. Their milky serum is such a beautiful product, and I have used it up twice. I've used up 2 big bottles of it. So, I don't want this because I don't really feel, I do not feel in any way more compelled by this because it's Hailey Bieber's brand. I haven't been bitten by the Hailey Bieber bug, nor will I be, I don't think. I actually feel like I'm probably a little bit more skeptical of this because it's Hailey Bieber's brand. I'm like, I would maybe rather buy from a brand that was made by people whose only job is making the skincare. Like that's their main focus and it's what they're trained in and it's what their life is about. You know what I mean? Like that's their job. I feel like she's got a lot going on. This is just like one thing that she's doing on the side. And maybe she's hired some of those people and who knows, maybe it's a great product, but I don't feel compelled. So that's why I was going to skip it originally. But I kind of kept coming back to it. And I realized that the reason I was coming back to it is because I love this type of product. I love a milky essence for skin prep, but I can't always be relied upon to use the one that I have. So I have used up the one from Make. But if you'll remember, the reason I like it so much is because the bottle is really big and easy to use and easy to open. And I remember feeling like when it was on my vanity, I would just use it sort of by rote rather than skipping it, which is what I tend to do. This kind of thing, and this is the thing that I have to say to add to the conversation, this kind of thing, like a glazing milk for skin prep, I feel like it's the kind of thing you buy, and when I say you, I mean me. One buys it because one is allured by the promises, and then one has it on one's vanity, and it just feels like a lot of work to use compared to something like a primer where you just take a pump and put it on your face, and it really creates sort of a layer, like a barrier between your skincare and your makeup. Compared to something like that, it's like process-oriented, multi-step patting it into the skin. It's so good for your skin to do that with something like this, but it just takes a lot of work, and so one ends up not using it as much as one thinks one will. I see this and the semi-grotesque marketing makes me want a milky essence. It doesn't make me want this one, but it makes me want to get one again, like to repurchase the one from Make Beauty, for example. But then I'm like, Hannah, will you really use it enough? Will you really use it assiduously enough to make it worth your $30? And I'm just not sure about the answer to that question. I'm just not sure. Brief mention, Katie Jane Hughes is launching product. She's a British makeup artist. You know, a lot of people launching brands, a lot of people launching products. Katie Jane Hughes is very good taste. And I think she's also extremely technique oriented. Like she's really in there on the micro level with demonstrating techniques and making use of products. So I am curious. I want to know what she's going to do. I bet it's going to be great. You know, there's a bit of a cult of personality around her. So there's always going to be the aspect of this that's being leveraged and it's going to cloud our visions of whatever it is she does create. I think it's good to keep a healthy perspective about that. But I can't say I'm not curious, especially because it looks like some sort of glowy goop. I don't know. I love a glowy goop. I love Glowy Goop by Katie Jane Hughes. Looks like whatever it is going to launch in September. Stay tuned. Okay, this is just, I need information from you. Well, no, I actually have multiple things to say. Boy Smells. This brand Boy Smells, very clever marketing. You know, the name, the packaging, the design, they're just on my radar. I try not to get too fetishy about stuff and like fall in love with stuff. So it's not like that. It's just, I keep seeing the name and the candle, and I actually went to get my hair trimmed recently and the stylist had like a Boy Smells candle in the restroom and I was like, Boy Smells following me everywhere. But I smelled the candle. It smelled good. It wasn't lit. I smelled it unlit, which is part of what I'm bringing to the table today. That's part of the question, which I'm going to save. I'll ask the question at the end. First, I want to address this Banana Pudding by Magnolia Bakery Boy Smells candle. I love banana pudding. It's not like I'm a big fan of banana, all things being equal. I mean, I like bananas. I've actually been putting banana slices into my eggy pancake lately, and that's been going really well. If you don't know about the eggy pancake, I'll link my saved Instagram story, which is about food and that has the instructions to make the eggy pancake. I'll link that in the description box. But it's what I have for breakfast almost every morning. So I can get down with a banana in a baked good, like a cooked banana, basically. But you know, there are other fruits that I prefer, all things being equal, like peaches. I'm a very big fan of peaches. First peaches of the season at the farmer's market last weekend. That was a real thrill for me. I've been waiting. I've been like... So a banana is a good fruit, but again, not my absolute favorite, but I love banana pudding. I love the Magnolia Bakery banana pudding. Magnolia Bakery, in case you're unaware, is a famous bakery in New York, famous for their cupcakes, but the secret is, if you ever go there, also get the banana, don't not get a cupcake, but definitely also get the banana pudding. It's like the best in the world. I'm getting emotional talking about it. I would love to eat a Magnolia Bakery banana pudding right now. Anyway, I can't say I digress, but it's not a digression. This is what this is about. It's just, I've spent too long laying the groundwork. I love banana pudding and Magnolia Bakery banana pudding specifically. And the last thing I want is a candle that smells like it because I don't live in New York, so I can't get Magnolia Bakery banana pudding. If just talking about it, sitting here has made me pine, imagine what it would be like to be smelling it, to have a candle. I just think this is a terrible idea. Terrible. So that's my comment on this. And then I have a question about Boy Smells candles at large, which is, are they good? Have you tried them? Are they good? Because I am not above purchasing a fancy candle once or twice a year, as you'll know if you've watched my video about guilty pleasures, citing yet another one for the description box. And I have multiple times considered a Boy Smells candle as my candle investment for the next, 4 to 6 months. But then I go on the Sephora site and there are people in the comments like, this doesn't smell strong. Half the people are like, I love it. It's perfect. It's beautiful. It looks like Linda Evangelista. It's a model. And the other half of the people are like, it doesn't smell strong. Like you light it and it doesn't have much scent throw and I can barely smell it and it seems like a shame for a $50 candle. Which one is it? I trust you all more than I trust just the people randomly leaving comments on Sephora. Can somebody tell me if I should buy a Boy Smells candle or if I should just stick to Le Labo? Either way, it's not going to be this Magnolia Bakery one. I might try to find a way to get some banana pudding soon. Okay, now we're getting into the good stuff. Refy. Doesn't this look like a lip and cheek product? It's just lip, but it's like this big chunky. It makes me think it's probably smaller than I'm imagining it is based on this imagery. It's solid and chunky and it makes it seem like it's a big lip and cheek stick. Like, But I think that it is just a little tiny thing, probably. A lightweight blurring formula that adds a subtle blush of color to enhance your natural lips. Kind of like that. Helps keep lips feeling moisturized and nourished. Contains blurring technology. It's interesting. It's not glossy. It's not trying to make your lips look shiny and glossy. It's sort of like a matte blurring thing. I am interested in this. Here's something that's happening sometimes to me. Refy seems, given my passionate relationship with the brow, not the pomade, but the gel, like the one that sets your brows, and the fact that I like glowy, gooey stuff, Refy seems like the kind of brand it would make sense for me to do a full review of. Like the cream blushes, the glossy cream stuff, the gooey, creamy gloss in a tube, all the other stuff they've released since they launched just like a couple of brow products back in the day. But every time I go to Sephora and I look at the Refy display, maybe it's just that everything's gross at Sephora, like all of the testers are just completely busted, but everything looks so small and dinky and unglamorous compared to how it looks online. And I look at it and I think like, I have no real interest in that. It just looks like it's not it. But again, it might be different if I had like the new clean ones in the packaging and I was actually testing the formulas. I feel like the effed up Sephora display talks me down off the ledge every time. And so I never have ended up trying anything from Refy other than that one brow gel that I think is really great. This release is once again making me think maybe I should review some more stuff from Refy. What do you all think? I do love the aesthetic. It's like full brow, no eye makeup, really rich, glossy, colorful cheeks, and now this sort of intriguing, moisturizing, but not shiny lip in very pretty colors. I like Bloom. I like all the colors, actually. I like all of the colors. Amber would probably go a little orange on me, but from the lightest to the deepest, I'd wear all of these colors. And you know how I am about color. Picky. Maybe I should do a full brand review of Refy, and the concept of the video will be, is it dinky and gross, or is it just what the Sephora display wants you to think? Oh, so I pulled that one up to discuss because I was like, this is right up my alley. This is a brand that I have an interesting relationship with, must discuss. Then I pulled up another thing that I maybe would have otherwise skipped. The Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Lip Blur. You know I love to spot trends. This is like the same thing, but it's in a doe foot dippy tube, which I've realized for lip products lately, I like a bullet. Bullet's my favorite. I think if Refy had done their thing in a dippy tube with a doe foot, it wouldn't even be on my radar. I like a bullet. So Charlotte, I feel like didn't make the best choice in that way. It's just interesting. It's the same thing, right? A matte meets moisture liquid lipstick. It's not the same thing. It's a liquid lipstick. Probably more pigmented, but it's like this soft velvet blur that is also, I think, a legacy of K-beauty. We've kind of seen it popping up everywhere for the past year in Western brands, but I think Refy is doing it right in a way that's a bit more of a departure from this soft blur lip cream thing in a tube that we've like seen everywhere, you know? The thing to take note of, I think, as someone who's trying not to buy too much is just that soft blur lip cream type things are bubbling under the surface, like sort of like that slow constant trend. So if you have one and then you are tempted by another thing like this Charlotte Tilbury release, the Refy release, being able to identify it as just like another release that's hitting the same notes as the one that you've already bought can help you get perspective on whether you really need another one. At least it works that way for me. Of all the ones I've seen, the Charlotte Tilbury is probably not at the top of my list because it says it's a liquid lipstick and it seems like it's super pigmented. More of a statement. Between the two of them, clearly I prefer the promises of the one from Refy, but I thought it was interesting to throw them up here side by side because they're kind of one right after another on the Trend Mood timeline. Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Smoothing Serum Skin Tint Foundation. Is that really what it's called? Yummy Skin Soothing Serum Skin Tint Foundation with peptides and ceramides. It does it all, folks. It's everything. You know, skin tint isn't usually my favorite, and it gets me every time I see a release like this and I'm like, oh, be still my beating heart. I want skin like that. And then I have to remember that I almost never get along with a skin tint. I really never get along with a skin tint. I get along with foundations that are tint-like because they're really thin and lightweight, but they're marketed as foundations because they've got that high pigment load. Things that are marketed as tints, I almost invariably, no, I keep saying almost. I've never met one I liked. Let's be frank. I've never met one I liked. So there's nothing to make me think that I'll like this. The shades look beautiful. The lightest shade in the swatch imagery looks really pretty saturated in yellow, but the model in shade 1 her skin looks just like mine. So all of that is just to say I might swatch this in store out of idle curiosity at some point, but that's where I'm at with it. I know better than to rush out and buy it, even for review. Okay, here's the other thing that's coming from my wig. Looks exactly like the Refy thing, but I think is a cheek multi-use cream stick cheeks and lips from Summer Fridays, which is, it's one of those brands, one of those cool girl brands. The thing that's keeping me from rushing out and buying this is that, I don't know, the shades, they're really saturated. Dusty Rose looks like it could work for me, but it would be a basic saturated mauve cheek and lip, and I have gone through so many of those that I've tested and they just don't grip me because there's not enough nuance, right? These are all just like straight down the middle, bright, strong colors, which work for a lot of people. I'm not saying there's anything inherently wrong with that. It's just that as a very desaturated person, it's kind of my saving grace if I'm trying not to buy something and it only comes in colors like that. I vastly prefer the shades of the Refy Lip Blur, again, from light to dark. So it's not even a matter of whether the shades are light or dark. I mean, with a cheek, it's easier for me to work with a light one because it's not going to overload me with pigment like super fast. But even a dark shade, like a deep, rich shade, if it's desaturated enough, like it has enough gray and brown in it, I can really make it work for my complexion. It's these extremely bright, saturated colors that I know will just never give me what I'm seeking. So it's kind of a shame. And the point is that even the deepest shades, Wine and Canyon of the Refy lip thing, they have that sort of desaturation. They're like mixed with brown, maybe mixed with a little gray. And Summer Fridays, not so with Summer Fridays. A beautiful looking product that I'm saved from wanting to buy because I don't know which color I would choose. And lastly, in a sort of similar realm, there's this really confusing post on Trend Mood. Looks like there are new Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Blush shades. And then the caption says includes, and then there's a list of colors, includes Big Melon, Peach Face, Pinky Promise, Raisin, Standards, Riri, but it says in parentheses, colors are not in pick. And then there's a picture of the shade range of the Fenty cream blushes, which I think must be of the existing shade range. And then underneath that, there's like the list of the new shade names that are crossed out and it says out of stock. It's so confusing. I guess that they were announced by name, but they're out of stock somewhere, and that shows that they're coming soon. So they have the shade names, but we don't know what the shades are. And then that's what this post is about, but it's really confusing. When I first saw this, that brown shade second from the bottom in the swatch rainbow, I mean, that got me. It got me, gal. I was like, is that the shade that we're getting? Is that Raisin Standards? Because it looks so milky brown, and it really looks brown. And then I read the thing, colors are not in pick. I tried to investigate and understand what was going on. I went back and checked the existing shades of Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Blush, and I realized that this is just a desaturated picture of the existing shades, I think. And that must be Rose Latte, which is the one that I had, that I tried. It's a really pretty color. It's just, it becomes much more rose on me than latte. It's really not brown the way that it looks in this picture. And I think that that really beautiful pale looking 1/3 from the top must be Petal Poppin', which again, in real life is just like a bright, strong pink. So they've tinkered with the colors somehow here to make them look different, maybe so that we would think that these were the new colors, and so we'd be excited even though they haven't released it. I don't know what's going on. It's just, this post just dragged me up, down, all around town and left me thinking, oh, we really don't know what the shades are going to be like, and if one of them is going to be my dream, like an actual milky brown. Based on the names, I don't know. What's Raisin Standards going to look like? Is it going to be a raisin color? I like the formula. I did a review of this so long ago, back when my channel was still incredibly crunchy. I don't know if we'll even link that one in the description box. I liked the formula. It's just, this is the same old story, right? There isn't a color among them that takes me there. And with so much cream blush on the market, I would rather just wear Phytosurgeon's Condensate, you know? That is it. That's the new makeup of note since the last time we spoke. Those are my hot takes about it. I hope you enjoyed this. this. I did. It's kind of interesting to have it be a sort of ho-hum week. I feel like it caused me to dig into a little more of theory about things rather than just zooming from release to release and being like, this is garbage, this is garbage, this is mildly intriguing, this is garbage. So maybe I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Maybe if my theory is correct about brands kind of holding off on new releases because of a sale season, maybe it'll be a similarly quiet 2 weeks and we'll have another sort of meandering new makeup hot takes again. I appreciate you so much, those of you who are always commenting, giving a thumbs up to the video. You know, if you're subscribed, thank you. I really appreciate it. And I hope that all of you are remembering to take extra good care of yourselves so that you can be the most effective versions of yourselves as you do your work in the world.